So you might see a theme here. These are the Dewalt DXST4500 shelves. They are double stackable, so you can set one down at 4 feet tall and set another one down 4 feet above that. And this is one of the big reasons that I got this set, is that all of the shelves are that solid piece. I cannot tell you how much I do not like wire shelving. So we got our brackets. So to help keep these things in place, they've got these little pegs. Just drop the peg in, and it's done. And I just noticed these little pins actually have the Dewalt logo on them too. Alright, so we got these braces to go on top. And these hooks just sit in the slots. And there's even more reinforcements. They have these little welded nuts and these slip right inside. I didn't even notice it until I started rummaging through more of this stuff, but they actually included an impact driver bit. So since this shelf is going to be on top, these bottom feet have to come off. Okay, so I just realized I put one of these sides on. You can see how this support is headed toward me and that support is headed away from me. They should both be headed toward me. So this should connect. That is gonna be a tall boy. So that is a tall shelf. Now something that I can see clear as day, but it might not show up as well on the camera, is that this is tilted. And the reason it's tilted has nothing to do with the shelf, it has everything to do with the garage. This floor is not level. The reason it's not level is because I have a water heater over here, and if it ever blows, it wants to put all the water outside the garage. So the floor is not level, it's tilted a little bit. So I need to figure out how tilted this is so that I can shim it. So the easiest way to do this is with a laser level. And you can see right here, it's just at the bottom of these two holes. And over there, it's almost in the middle of those two holes. So this is off about 1 inch approximately. Now I've got these feet that came off of the top of the shelf. So I can actually cut these down and use these as shims. And they might be just the right height. So what I'm going to try to do, there's a little notch in here. So this is where everything sits. And I'm going to try to cut it down so that everything is flush with that notch. So these are a little bit too deep, so I'm just going to go grind the tip off. Just like that. And I got these two left over, so if I ever want to convert it back, easily done. Alright, now there is still a little bit of a wobble to it, but the reason is not because of those two, it is actually because of this one in the front. This one is my problem now. Alright, so this is just above it, and that one's a little bit higher. But if I do shim this left corner, that's going to go up a little bit more. So that's pretty darn even. If anything, I was going to trim some more off of the bottom of those feet, but this is actually just about the perfect height. I don't need to be perfect, I just need it to be good enough, but it's pretty close to perfect, so I'm definitely going to leave it right there. So I need the full shim. But that is actually a pretty good size, so I'll just leave it like that. That is a nice looking shelf. So I bought 6 of these shelves. That gives me enough material to build 2 more shelves just like this, 8 feet tall and 150 inches across. Now the thing is, you don't have to buy 6 to get that same width. You could buy 5. If you buy 5, you're going to lose a total of 3 shelves. So instead of this being 6 shelves tall, it'll be 5 shelves tall. But then you would also need these braces, right? But you don't really, because you can just connect it like that. So you'd have 5 shelves up. That would give you more room if you have tall items. And it actually kind of looks pretty clean. It looks more like a continuing shelf. And this is going to solve some other problems that I'm going to have, which is that these shelves have to be perfectly parallel. Otherwise, it's going to show this gap in between at the top. By building it this way, these brackets are actually going to hold the shelves together and it's going to make everything look flush. So if you want to save some money, still get a really good look, you can just get 5 of these. You'll still have 3 across and you'll have a little bit more room per shelf. So I'm checking the level again, and we're right at the top here, and we're down about a ½ inch over here. So I'm going to do the same thing I did on the last one. This one in the back is a little bit taller than this one in the front. So I left a little extra meat on one of these to make it just a little bit taller. Alright, so that's looking a lot better here. The only thing I'm worried about is this looks like it needs to go up a little bit on the front. Yep, that looks pretty good. So this one is right at the bottom of the pinch out. This one's still a little high. So the full length of this is going to be excessive. I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit more than the full length. Also, the front of it has to go that way on both sides. Alright, so with this one I shaved off the top like normal, but I also took a little bit off the bottom. On the bottom, I put shims in the back, and it's making the top pull this way. I'm going to try to pull out a little bit of that and see if I can straighten that out. And so these shims, they start out a little longer than this. I already broke this one off on that far edge. Essentially, you can just take these things wherever you think you need the height. You just snap off the rest. All right. So now I'm going to take these 2 slightly shorter shims and I'm going to jam those underneath that leg. So now we're going to tie these to the wall. And the way you do that is it's got these 2 brackets. This slides in there, and then this has a bunch of holes, so that's going to fit in these holes. So you line that up with the hole that's going to line it to the wall. And because this is pretty much flush with the shelving, this would work, but if I try to put it over here, it would go way back. So that's why you got a bunch of holes here, so you just line it up with the one you need. Then we got these carriage bolts, and it might be better to put it from the top. That way if you need to move the shelf, it'll be a lot easier to get to it. And it comes with this little wrench. It's a stud finder. This is saying I've got a stud right. And I'm going to use a 9/64 drill. And I want it to be out about the length of the screw, maybe a little shorter. That's not going anywhere. I'm going to have to use the last hole. But that's it. I'm real happy with the way these things turned out. They're really tall. They're 8 feet tall. Covers 150 inches from side to side. They're 18 inches deep, so that gives me plenty of room to park my cars. They're really strong, and I really like the way they look.